Welcome along to the EXFL Tier 2 Season 9 Singapore Grand Prix. We're here for round 16 out of 22. Got 13 drivers at the moment, still expecting one more of Nathan to make it 14. It's a dry qualifying, but I'm hearing apparently it could be a wet race as the drivers make their way out onto the track. Sounding great. That's great to hear. Literally. Right. Round 16, 7 races remain, and only 2 points separate the top 2 in the World Championship. And 34 points separate 3 teams, the top 3 teams, in the Constructors' Championship. Let's go through them all. Josh Hewitt in the RB has scored about 9 points for the team that are in with a chance of winning the championship. He has obviously had some unfortunate races since he started racing this season, but he's back hopefully to get some more points this time and not give up. Frosty is back in the Red Bull, which is great to see. We'll see how he does around the streets of Singapore. Probably the most experienced driver of these lot in terms of Singapore races. Maybe Seb's up there with him. Warren back in the Haas, looking to get some more points on the board as well. It was quite a good performance last time out in Italy, qualifying wise. Carbro, excited to be back racing more, and after a P4 finish last time out in Baku, yeah, granted there was only 6 finishers, but still points on the board for him, and he'll be looking to gain some more. Hughes Morgan, 3rd in the championship and helping Alpine still stay in the lead. It was a disaster last week as himself and his teammate in front of Alex retired. They'll hopefully be able to get a better result this time round, as they look so much better under the night sky. The glimmering lights shine above. The shine of the blue Alpines go through the final couple corners to begin their laps, as drifting will now cross the line to start his. We've got Christian about to begin his lap as well in the McLaren, looking to gain some more points as well. Bluey has lost somehow his left and right end plate. He's reserving in the Sauber this time round. He got 8 points because he finished 6th last week, which brings his career total to 12. So we'll see if he can manage to do any better than that and get some more points. Seb, World Championship leader. He's led the championship every single race this season of the first 15. Any driver in Tier 2 history who's gone on to lead the championship for 15 rounds or more has always gone on to win it. So no pressure for Seb, but he knows a certain man is right behind him. Eggy has had 2 podiums to his name now after Small Nick has unfortunately retired in the last 2 races due to big crashes. One in the pit lane in Italy and one on the last lap, pretty much last corner at Baku. We know he can be right in the fight, and hopefully today he will gain some good points back. But yeah, Eggy, 2 podiums to his name recently. Still the driver with the most podiums without a win. You never know at Singapore. It could get crazy. It's the longest Grand Prix of the season, as there's Nathan. It's the longest Grand Prix of the season, taking nearly up to an hour to do half a race. But obviously it is a modified track as you exit this corner. No more 2 chicanes with the tunnel. It's just a straight, straight really, as Morgan and Frosty set their laps up to this chicane now. And then yes, Oren on the mediums like he usually is at the start. Number 95. It's the closest it's been in the championship. Just 2 points between Oren and Seb separate. Oren looking to equal one of the biggest records in EXFL Tier 2 tonight. 7 wins to his name. He won 2 in a row, then Morgan won. He won 2 in a row, then Seb won. He's won 2 in a row, then Alex won. And last time out in Baku, he got his 7th victory as Nathan gets into his Aston Martin, and Oren rounds the final corner. A 28.8 the time to beat, 28.3 for Oren. Half a second clear of Frosty. So yeah, Oren looking for win number 8 tonight, which would equal the all-time record of 8 victories set by Tier 2 Season 5 World Champion Thies and Tier 2 Season 7 World Champion Logan. And then that just leaves Arav Chubster back in the Sauber. You never know, he could spring up there as well. Anyway, right. Whoa. just nearly a third of the way done with the session. Oren leads the way, nearly 6/10 clear of Frosty, 2/10 clear of Morgan. Eggy, I'm sure, will be going again because he's definitely not 3.3 off the pace. Same with Drifting as he's coming around the final couple corners now, sliding out and only just over a 1/10.5 behind Oren. I don't know how difficult that last corner is proving, as Josh is also on the mediums beginning his lap. As we'll just look at the RB of Seb, also on the medium run. So this will be kind of representative. The top two of the World Championship. Seb comes down the final corner. Is he going to beat Oren's time? Yes, he is, by quite a margin. Seb has put down the landmark, who has had quite a few pole positions this season and has beaten Oren. When it comes to the race, Oren has got things right, as there we go, Oren has found a few more tenths, so we'll see on the second run what he can deliver. Crosses the line. Wow, 27 thousandths between the top two. And it is game on. Every bit helps towards the checkered flag in Abu Dhabi to crown one of these two as world champion. And wow, and Small Nick, 86 thousandths, top three, but of course these two are on the mediums. And Small Nick is on the softs. Wow. Seb really is upping the ante. He knows that Oren has gained so much on him throughout the last, 10 or so races. And it's time to strike back for RB. And yeah, that's a great start to the session for Seb. But when it comes down to their soft runs, he's got to get it right as well. So it's all about the practice. And at the moment, Seb's come out strong with just under 10 minutes to go across the line. Josh Hewitt, unfortunately, 8/10 down nearly on his teammate. But Frosty Life crosses the line to go again. So they're doing multiple runs, I think. Yeah, they're doing multiple runs. And Frosty's gone just under 4/10 behind in fourth. Carbro 1.2 down. Drifting might be going again. There may be a bit of traffic here and there. It is a long track, though. Chubstow 1.6 down, so that's the top 10's general pace, I guess. We're still waiting for Christian to set an actual lap. Warren exiting the pit lane. Nathan about to begin a lap. Bluey finishing the middle sector. As Oren's doing another lap. As exiting the pit lane right in front of him is the Haas of Warren, who will stick to the right, get out the way. But then he moves back to the left, which is going to be a bit of an eyesore for Oren. But Warren does eventually get out the way. And we'll see what Warren can do at the end of Sector 1. So we know what the representative time is. 26.4, 61 thousandths down, so a 0.3 is what you're looking for. And I'll make sure to go through someone's lap, so it gives a pretty good representation, at least on board. But you can see Oren sliding, struggling a bit there, trying to push, trying to find some time. This is one of the two corners where you could so easily lose a wheel. You turn in too early, you hit that orange wall, you lose a wheel. It's so close there, but here, the Anderson Bridge right there is also where you could lose a wheel if you're too unlucky with the wall, trying to find a bit more time. Look how much Oren is sliding as he has his rear wing open. Camera work looking a little dodgy there, but he finishes the middle sector. And you know what? He is up by exactly 1,000th on what he needs to beat Seb. So this is going to be close. All the sliding and pushing to the limit. And it may reward Oren well. So close to the wall as he enters the last chicane. 2 corners to go, which you pretty much take flat in qualifying. Riding on board with the Aston Martin. Round the final couple corners. Can he put it back on provisional pole? He has lost some time in the last sector. So he doesn't improve. Seb on an outlap on the softs this time. And I believe my audio has fixed itself, so I can do this if I want. There we go. I don't know about the stream, but at least for me, I can actually hear them now. Morgan down in 9th at the moment. 3rd in the standings, 72 points behind. Obviously, it's not been the greatest last 3 races for him. 3-way fight for the title has become a 2-way. As what about Drifting? He's invalidated. Frost Life in the pit lane. Seb about to begin his lap, so I'll ride on board with him, see what he can do. He's got quite a lot of free air in front of him. Warren currently doing his lap. So around the final corner then comes the championship leader, Seb, to cross the line on the softs with 7.5 minutes remaining. Here is a lap round Singapore. Diving into turn 1, heavy braking. So easy to invalidate on turn 1 and 2, but he's taking it very nicely indeed. Going wide to maximise traction, keeping close to the left into turn 5. You can really get away with invalidating there. The game won't really penalise you too much. DRS on, blasting the battery, and keeping right to finish the first sector. 0.3, it's down to a 0.1. So easy to go over that curb, but he takes a bit of a wide exit. So easy to rear lock through the right-hander, but he's taking it very nicely indeed. Yellow's up in front for a car as across the line, someone improved. Now through the middle sector. You can't really call this the technical part. The whole track is technical, but he has absolutely aced that corner. You can take a lot of this curb as well to not run wide. Through the Anderson Bridge, and he is really at one with the car. Through the hairpin now, absolutely nails the apex. There's an Alpine in front of him, which might be Morgan actually giving him a bit of tow. It is indeed. Finishes the middle sector, didn't quite catch it, takes a lot of the inside curb, maximises the exit so he doesn't invalidate on that white line, keeps it tight on the left on the mini straight, which I'm guessing by next game will have DRS like it does in real life, into the chicane. Probably the newest part of the track because they're kind of unfamiliar. Around the final 2 corners, and this should probably be about half a second clear. Seb crosses the line, and it's nearly 9/10 clear, and Seb into the 26ers. A brilliant lap. And let's see what Oren can do, who's still on the mediums and has found a quarter of a second. So you never know if Oren can snatch it right at the end. It's these two who are the top 2 for a reason. The best in the league, the best in the tier, as Oren does find just over 2/10, and he's got to find 6.5 on the soft run, but he has put in quite the stint on those medium tyres. 6 laps, and he still finds some time. You know what? Best in the league, why not? Josh Hewitt now on the softs, but invalidated. The 4 around him in the pit lane. Eggy has found a 10th, nearly 2 in the first sector, but he's lacking around 8/10 just in the first alone. It is one of the more longer tracks, hence why the bigger margins. Chubster found exactly the same time as Eggy in the first sector, but he is 3/10 quicker. He's not exactly taken that corner well. He's ghosted for some reason. We have a lot in the pits with 5 minutes to go. And yep, that was a really good lap from Seb. But we know how good Oren can be. As across the line, Eggy goes P7. And what about Chubster then? As he finishes the second split, how much is he up by? 2 and a bit tenths. Would get him up to about 9th, but there's still quite a gap. Just quickly looking now. Oren has 7 poles, Seb has 8 poles. Get rid of that. Around the final corner for Chubster. Let's see what he can do. A 28.8 to put himself, like I thought, P9. A lot in the pit lane, so they're gearing up for one final run. The Sauber of Bluey has exited the pit lane. Carbro, Eggy and Chubster, they got to hurry back to the pit lane if they want one more attempt. And it's all down to Oren because Seb has set the benchmark and Oren has to find 6.5 tenths to see if he can snatch pole position from Seb, who really needs to win tonight. 2 points, it's the closest it's been all season, and Seb needs to make that breathe again. He cannot allow Oren to take the lead and run away with it, because that would be a bit anticlimactic for a championship fight. But Seb knows on his own he can win this world championship. He's still led it even when Oren got close. And it hopefully will be a fierce battle to Abu Dhabi. Obviously we have arrived at that part of the season where it correlates with real life. So in real life, Austin this weekend, and then next week EXFL will have Austin, and then Mexico, and then the week after EXFL will have Mexico, and then Brazil. But then it'll be a 3-week break, which will make the EXFL season end before real life. So it's kind of, this is the bit where it kind of evens out. So Bluey crosses the line, 5.5 seconds off in P14. The top 7 still in the pit lane. Carbro has begun what will probably be his last run as the McLaren flies up to the wall. DRS open. Flyby on the right. We'll finish the first sector. 26.6, 2 and a bit tenths down. And he's invalidated as well, so he might be able to go again. As it's a 0.1 they're looking for to if they want to challenge Seb. Frosty, outlap. Josh exiting the pit lane. Christian beginning his lap now. Morgan down in P11 at the moment. Really needs a good time to get himself higher than that. Remember, Alpine fighting Aston and RB in the constructors as well. Nathan and Josh. As for Oren, he's got a lot to do. You'll hope Nathan can get some more points on the board. Seb knows Josh can be in the fight, but it's his endurance, seeing if he can make it through a whole race. As for drifting, we know he can consistently be there. Same with Morgan. Top 7 all on their outlaps. The only one in the pit lane is Nathan. There are yellows in the middle sector. I can't see how much time. A minute 30, so I think that's Nathan done. And it is Bluey done as well. Chubster just under a 10th improved, but that could put him ahead of Carbro, maybe even ahead of Eggy if he's found some more time. Round the final corner, across the line, and it puts him P8 with about a minute left. So up next will be Josh Hewitt and then Seb, who's just in front of Morgan. And where's Oren? Oren's at the Anderson Bridge. He'll be one of the last to cross the line along with Eggy. Josh Hewitt has begun his lap into turn 1. Josh may be giving Seb a tow if his lap doesn't come to fruition, as Seb has begun his final run as well. Same with Morgan and Oren. And yeah, Eggy will be the last one to cross the line. The 7th row is confirmed of Nathan and Bluey. Let's see what the first 6 have in store. Who's next to cross the line after Oren and Eggy? It is the Haas of Warren. Eggy finishing the middle sector. He's up by 6 tenths, but he is down by 3.1 seconds, and he's gone off there, but somehow kept it valid. Backed off, fair enough. He's got the McLaren. Oh, as Christian's gone off there. I don't know how that's to spin. Carbro's up marginally. We'll see what Warren can do. Not the greatest exit there through the chicane. Round the final couple corners for the Haas car. Goes off there and invalidates, so will be P12. Angry with himself, crashes out. And Carbro crosses the line, and by 4,000 snatches back P8. So we'll see what Josh can do. He's 7 tenths up. He's found a lot of time. What about Seb? He's up by even more, as Oren is down on his first sector. But he's only about a tenth out of it. So we'll see what the RBs can do. Josh flying around the final couple corners. His teammate, currently on provisional pole, absolutely destroying the track records. Josh crosses the line. It's P4 for him. But wait for Seb to go a whole second clear of the rest. Seb has found his track, and he is on pole for the Singapore Grand Prix, unless Oren can find 6 tenths in one sector. We'll see what Small Nick can do. Can he get himself on the front row provisionally? Crosses the line now, and he's 8 tenths off, but he is in front of Oren, who's really the only one who can challenge Seb. Drifting goes 3rd. It may be 4th in a moment. Oren around the final corner. Is it Seb or Oren? It's Seb on pole position for the Singapore Grand Prix. He's looked undefeated all session, and he's got his reward. Pole position for Seb as Chubster gets disqualified. For some reason. Oh, what the... it's a meet and greet here. Yeah, I don't know what Christian's going, but anyway. Seb on pole, Oren 2nd, Smolnik 3rd, Drifting 4th. Where did Morgan get in the end? 8th. Eggy got 6th. Good on him. Big margins. There's 2 McLarens 9th and 10th, and the 2 Saubers will lock out the 7th row. Warren's car is still there. But yeah, what a lap from Seb. We haven't seen him this quick since maybe Australia, but he is back in the final third of the season with a big statement in qualifying. And we're just waiting for Christian. There are some tracks where driver and track just work. This is one of them. It was the same with Oren back in well, he's had a lot of tracks that works for him, but this track belongs to Seb at the moment, at least over one lap. The race is a very different prospect, where race pace gets so much more closer than qualifying has been this season. It's been a trend. But we know how good Oren can be in terms of consistency, his strategy. We know Seb can potentially get 3-second time penalties more than Oren, but I'm sure Seb this time will not be giving in. These two have yet to have any sort of actual... They've had battles, but they haven't had like collision, like big championship moment incidents. Singapore, we've seen it before in a championship fight where the first incident happened at this track. But anyway, we'll see what happens then in, I think it's 31 laps time. You can see in Frosty Life's garage, they've got a set of hard compound tyres ready for him. It should be a medium, hard, medium kind of track. Yeah, everyone's on mediums at the moment. And yeah, technically, Bluey out-qualified someone. So good on him. Right, we'll see. Down into turn 1, who leads? Will it be championship leader Seb on pole position? Will it be the challenger, the chaser, Oren in P2? The top two showing why they are the front face of Tier 2. And in a few moments' time, we will get underway for the 9th running of the Singapore Grand Prix in EXFL Tier 2. This is round 16, 7 ago. 2 points in it at the moment, and under the night sky, we get ready for the 16th race of the World Championship. 5 lights on, and when they go out, it's lights out and away we go in Singapore with Seb leading the way ahead of Oren, who's under pressure from Small Nick, who goes around the outside, but Oren maintains P2 as Josh Hewitt down the inside. What a start from him, up to 3rd already, barging his way past Drifting and Small Nick, as Small Nick drops even further down on the hard compound tyres. A bit of contact between the Williams and the Alpine as Eggy looks to maybe gain a place on the mediums too, blasting his battery trying to get into 5th, but it's Seb leading out from Oren, from Josh Hewitt. A brilliant start as Small Nick and Drifting fight once again. In the background there's some contact, and Bluey is out of the race, and that's a VSC. Losing the rear there is Drifting, but he manages to hold on because the race has been neutralised. Don't know what happened to Bluey there, but after, what, not even a sector, he becomes the first retirement. And yeah, saw in the background, biggest gainer at the moment is obviously Josh Hewitt. Biggest loser at the moment, unfortunately, is Frosty. He's moved from 7th down to 11th. I don't know what happened to him there as he goes very wide at the old Singapore sling. So yeah, that kind of explains why Hewitt had a good start. The two he got in front were on hards to his mediums. Christian on the softs, Morgan also on the hards. Everyone else on the medium compound tyres. The virtual safety car will end soon. But yep, Seb did everything right there. And now he has a bit of a rear gunner of Josh Hewitt as the VSC is over, before anyone decided to make any interesting calls heading into the pit lane after lap 1. Eggy hasn't exactly got the restart he wanted. He's got a big train all the way down to 13th behind him. Anyway, Seb will finish the first lap in front of Oren, in front of Josh Hewitt, as there's already swaps between Morgan and Carbro. So Eggy already a second clear of Carbro, and there's fights galore happening into turn 1. The McLaren brakes late, and the other one bounces over the curb, goes wide, down the inside goes Frosty Life as well for P10. Carbro in front of Morgan, Warren up to 9th. Christian fighting in 10th. Frosty still stays where he is, going for a switchback on the soft runner. Stays how they are for now. Oren really close to Seb there. Same battery and all, and Seb's just got to make sure he keeps Josh with him. And Small Nick also trying to keep with these lot. Christian fighting Warren for 9th and 10th, and Christian has got ahead. On the softs, giving good use, nearly puts Warren in the wall, who sends it to the inside on Christian, but doesn't manage to gain from it. As you see in the background, Chubb's fighting Nathan there, and they're all single file as they head towards the Anderson Bridge. And Eggy looks like he's caught drifting now. He's unfortunately falling a bit off. Obviously, he is on the hard compound tyres. He's not using his battery. And Nick also on the hards, trying to stick with the top 3. Some randomer there, but anyway. Josh is doing his job, sticking with Oren. And Oren's doing what he can to stick with Seb as well. A lot of different camera angles throughout this race and qualifying. Half of them I like, half of them are a bit misleading. Losing the rear there a bit is Nick. Bluey didn't really explain what happened to him, so I'm guessing that was just maybe his own loss. Drifting 2.8 behind as Eggy right with him, and Carbroke. Morgan has had quite a loss as he's leading a 6-car train all the way down to 13th. So Morgan's going to come under a bit of pressure from the soft runner of Christian. Goes to the inside. Morgan leaves in the space, and the McLaren gets in front. And Warren's also going to try and look down the inside on the Alpine. He leaves in the space, does Morgan, but Warren doesn't, and bashes him off the track. Frosty sends it to the inside. Morgan is aware of this, and now he's getting put in the wall nearly. They're going to go wheel to wheel through turn 9, and Morgan slides back in front. So yeah, a bit bargy from Warren there to send Morgan down the order even more. It's not really where you'd think drivers like Frosty and Morgan would be, fighting in 11th and 10th, but maybe they'll make their way up, as something's happened to Josh Hewitt. He was with Oren, and now he's 2 seconds behind. Nick is nearly within a second, with plenty of battery to use. And I'll tell you what, Oren is keeping with Seb, exactly the same battery level between these two. Going to be very interesting indeed. As, yeah, Nick is with Josh, so they're going to be fighting for the podium. Drifting, he knows he's on the better strategy towards the end, and Eggy knows he can get ahead of him at the moment. As last corner as well, that might also be a minefield for warnings. Same with turn 1 and the exit at 2. Looking further front, 44, 46. As we see Nathan and Chubster swap. So Nathan back in front of the Sauber. Oren in the DRS sticking with. So Seb's lost a bit of help there of his teammate, but Josh is still running in the podium, which would be a brilliant haul of points for RB, especially considering one of the Alpines is down in 10th, nearly 11th. Frosty tries to avoid that. I believe, yeah, Warren went off in front of them. He gets the first time penalty. And yeah, Christian still leading this, well, train. It's a bit spaced out now. And Carbro sticking with Eggy, who's just about sticking with Drifting. And Smolnik definitely on the tail of the RB. But it's the top two as they were. It's a bit unfamiliar though. We're used to Oren in recent races being first. Seb trying to stick with. Oren pulling away, having the pace. And Seb trying his best to stick with. This time round it's Seb out in the lead. And it's imperatively crucial he wins tonight. But he's still got 27 long laps in front of him. And he's got his rival for the World Championship breathing down his neck. And under the skylit night in Singapore, we see the top two doing battle. And is this the first lap of 31 that we are going to see a swap of leadership? Oren has got his battery on overtake. He's got the DRS. And will he go inside or outside? He's in the slipstream of the RB. He goes to the inside. They make slight contact. Oren trying to take the lead away from Seb. They make slight contact. Seb leaves in the room and stays in front for now. Little bit of wheel banging, but it's all fair. Seb stays in front. And Nick also behind as Warren making another place. But round the outside, back comes the McLaren. Warren again not leaving the space at the same corner. But gets the position as Morgan. I think as oh, Josh Hewitt's also got a penalty now. Morgan, I think, didn't realise how early they broke. Heard a bit of contact between the rear wing and his front wing. But I think it's fine. As those softs are, as Frosty nearly runs into the back of Morgan there. As I think those softs are wearing out already for Christian. It wasn't a bad idea to start on them. But he's certainly paying dividend, and that could allow Warren to get away. Eggy keeping fine on the battery. Drifting keeping very fine on the battery. And yeah, Josh Hewitt unfortunately with a time penalty. That's certainly going to promote Nick into the podium. And the top two Oh, has Oren spun? We caught that right there. Final corner. Oren has spun at the last corner, and that's dropped him down to 4. A big mistake from one of the top 2 has sent him down the order, and that has let Seb fly away. We've seen Oren crack. He's made a mistake for the first time in, well, I don't even know how long. He's made a big mistake that's cost him a lot. And now he's going to have to work twice as hard to get back, as we see Nick fighting Josh for P2, and Nick getting ahead of the RB, who's trying to go for a switchback, can't quite do it, and Nick is now up in a second. So Oren's got a job to do then. Luckily, there was a bit of a gap between Josh and drifting that he could feed himself into. Now, his only option is undercut. As down the order goes Morgan, unfortunately spinning around. And please put it in gear and get back on the track. Thank you. As battles galore here. Frosty versus Christian versus Chubster. As Nathan's dropped a bit further behind. As looks like Christian's going to stay in front of Frosty, or just about, with a bit of contact. And Christian is remaining in front but loses the rear. And now Chubster spies a gap on the inside, thinks better of it. And they're all losing the rear quite a bit here. Frosty all over the back. Not using his battery for some reason, but has the DRS to go around the outside as Christian hits Frosty into the wall nearly and gets a penalty for cutting the inside. As Chubster tries to spy both of them, but thinks better of it because that's happened. What on earth? Anyway, Nathan's back up into the points now because of all that. The brain cells lost between these two. It's mad. As Morgan will gain 2 free places. They're still trying to rejoin the track. As Oren 2.7 behind. That was not really Frosty as much. It was more Christian, but what on earth is this guy doing? Anyway, comes into the pit lane. Frosty also 3 second. Wouldn't be surprised if one of them retires. Might actually help. Anyway, Morgan gets 2 free positions, but those two are going to be on different strategies now. Josh just outside of a second. Massive crash, massive crash. Yep. That's what happens near the back. So Josh, whoa! Just about hitting the wall there. I think he's just kept his car intact, but that's lost him nearly a second. We're catching all the moments here. But yeah, at the moment, that is the best thing Seb could have wished for. To see in his mirrors, Oren go round at the last corner. Now he's in free air. And anything like a safety car or a VSC may affect it, but for now, he's out in front and he's loving it. Small Nick 3.5 behind on the hard compound tyres. I still wouldn't discount Nick from being on the better strategy towards the end. I also wouldn't really discount drifting, who's we're catching all the hits of the walls. See, this camera angle doesn't really, it's too late. Anyway, Carbro has been stuck behind Eggy for a while, but look at his battery. 10%. Eggy, 80. Drifting's used a bit of his. And they're all a bit spaced out, are the top 4. Drifting's got a few customers. Nathan's running well in P9, to be fair, ahead of Chubster. Morgan, obviously, I don't know what happened to him, but he spun round and staying in one single position for about 5 seconds didn't help. So Christian, as Eggy's in front of Drifting now, goes off a bit there. 3 wide battle. Heading into the next corner, and Eggy is back in front as Carbro goes round the outside, and Drifting has lost both positions there. Warren gets a second penalty. So yeah, Drifting tried all he could, but Eggy is now in front. Looked a little slow there through the few corners as Carbro goes defensive on Drifting. And now Eggy's the one under pressure. Oren, who's already catching Josh, and this will be an interesting battle. Josh already, whoa. What on earth? Well, he's lost a bit of his wing after going into the wall there. As Oren's going to close up. And will Josh pit this lap? Considering he's lost his whole left end plate. Nope, he's going to stay out. Interesting. So yeah, it seems like the last corner proving a bit of a struggle to go fully flat. Yeah, you can see Eggy gradually gaining up through the throttle. And if Josh's mission is to hold Oren up even more, he's found a bad spot because obviously Oren has the DRS and more momentum to go through the corners with a full wing intact. Now he's going to use his overtake. Now he's got the DRS. Josh is using all the battery he possibly can. Oren goes to the inside to take P3 away from Josh. He's going to brake late, but can't really do anything. Positions his car perfectly, does Oren. Josh will try the inside, and he's going to do what he did on lap 1 and put Oren out of the race. Josh Hewitt has just taken Oren out. And, well, the cars behind just about avoid him. And that is huge in terms of the World Championship. And, yep, safety car then. At least for medium runners, that's kind of a good sign for lap 9, because hards can just go to the end. So, in terms of people like Nick and drifting, they've kind of been a bit screwed over. Warren's got a drive through. It was an opportunistic send from Josh. He didn't want to give the position up. And yeah, the teammate of the title rival has just taken him out. Where have we seen that before? Anyway, we have a safety car. Seb has already caught it. He did not pit. Wait, what? Oh my god, I completely forgot about the rain. Wow, Nick's already on Inters. I completely forgot they said wet race. So the rain is coming. Interesting. But you don't want to pit onto Inters now because they're going to be shredded. Depends how quickly the rain comes. Completely forgot about that element of the race. Interesting. So, Carbro's up to second because Small Nick pitted and obviously Josh pitted. Where's Eggy? Eggy also pitted. On to Dries though. There's the rain! So maybe it was a good call. But, well, you're still going to need to wait a few laps before the track gets properly wet. Chubbs has gone on to the softs. This is throwing all sorts of spanners in the work. Remember last season in Singapore? We also had a bit of a... It was pretty much the opposite. It went from wet to dry as Seb is in to the pit lane. Don't overtake the safety car because you'll get disqualified, Seb. That could have been close. We could have had both championship protagonists out of the Grand Prix. That would have been crazy. And yeah, Small Nick may have pulled a blinder here. Josh Hewitt's back into the pit lane for some reason. Oh, he's lost a bit of his wing. That's why. And Morgan, well, he's a bit far behind, but it brings him back into play. And it looks like Seb's only going to lose one position. Warren, yeah, they're all putting the inters on now. Chubster stays out on the softs. And it's not actually the worst call because... just watching everyone's exit. It's not actually the worst call because until the track's properly wet, he will be on a pretty good, in terms of traction, a pretty good strategy. But in the long term, I think it's not really the right call. Frosty and Christian still quite a way behind. Nearly lapped. So what they got to do, they got to join first and then pit. They don't want to pit and then it comes in and they're still half a minute behind. Well, Josh has apologised to Oren. That is a huge moment in the championship. That is huge. And Christian's deciding to pit before joining the train. As a small nick is dropping down the order. So Seb retakes the lead. I don't know why. Well, surely his inters haven't shredded that much. As he's in the pit lane. Wait. Oh, wait, no. Yeah, I don't know why he's... I don't know if it... I actually don't know why he's pitted there. He's pitted onto another set of inters. He's stayed in his box for a while. I don't know if he's in AI or... I'll try and see it. Like, what... Oh, here we go. What's happening, Nick? Yeah. Nick's AI pitted. It was the same with Josh. So that's unfortunate. That has given Seb the lead back. As Josh is down in 11th. And I don't know if Oren has left the session or not. But all he can do is watch now. Morgan's on the dries. Same with Chubster. It's not really wet, the track. But it's gonna be. And I don't think you can really gain enough in the... considering there's still 19 laps to really gain. Oh my god. Christian's got a penalty under safety car. He's still ages behind as the safety car is in this lap. So Hewitt and Morgan will just about catch, but Christian's still going to be quite a way behind. So anyway, we are, sorry. Back under racing. Down the inside goes Carbro on Seb. A little bit of contact, but Seb stays in front. Yeah, we're back under way racing. It looks like Chubster's already losing ground on the softs. Look how much he's sliding, struggling, losing position and time. Nathan is up into the top 5 for Aston Martin. And going wide there, still is Chubster. A little bit of contact here and there. Flying through is Small Nick, trying to gain back the pieces he lost. Carbro finds himself up in the podium at the moment in P2, but Seb is away still and will do what he tried to do as Small Nick gets in front of Eggy now for P6. And his next target is Nathan. Warren in 4th as well. The field very much shuffled as we look to see Josh up to 8th now, and the 3 runners of the soft, medium, hard have not chosen correctly. Frosty on the hards, Morgan on the mediums, Chubster on the softs, and you can just see the rest are gone. You can see how much they're struggling. Chubster losing it nearly. That allows Morgan to get in front, but these 3 have made the wrong choice. And yeah, that allows Frosty through. Chubster really struggling as Nick and Nathan fight again. Nathan having a great time in 5th at the moment. It's allowing the top 4 to get away. And it still says safety car on the top left for some reason, but that always happens. Nathan in the lime green helmet, number 67. He knows his teammate is out of this race. He knows he's the one getting the points for Aston Martin today. And when will Nick try and move? It's down the inside now. A little bit of contact. Barges his way by. Nathan stays back in front just about as they're going to go wheel to wheel through the last couple of corners. And Nick has got the place. And Eggy's also trying to get a move round the outside of the last couple of corners. Can't quite get the move done as Josh Hewitt's also trying to get in front as Warren is in the pits for some reason. So Josh... once again, trying to ascend. Eggy losing the room. A little bit of wheel banging as they fight into turn 3. Eggy hangs it around the outside. A little bit of lag there. You can see that Eggy looks like he's going to stay in front for now. Can Josh go for the switchback? Might get a warning in the process. Decides to go round the outside instead and gets the place. As Frosty's put wets on now. Unless it's going to get that bad that it becomes full wet territory. But they've all pitted for inters. And yet Christian's still away behind. Seb's pulled away then. 1.3 seconds clear. 1.6 seconds clear of Carbro. And then drifting. And then Small Nick. 3.8 behind these lot. But he could still charge to get a podium. But yeah, at the moment, I think there's going to be a very happy podium place for one of these guys. Carbro, a podium would mean a lot to him. Drifting would be very happy with it. And Small Nick, if he can come back to get one also. But it looks like Seb's still in control, even in the wet. And Nathan, well, he's under pressure from Eggy and Josh. But still, worst case scenario, he's 7th, which is still a great position for him to be in. As we are about to approach the halfway stage, we have a yellow, and it's Warren. I still don't know why he pitted for... As Christian gets another penalty. I still don't know why he pitted for another set of inters when he was running in 4th. Sliding through the chicane is Nathan, holding up Josh. He's already taken one Aston Martin out this time round. He flies past the one who's struggling. So up into P5 he goes. And Eggy biding his time, also trying to get past the Aston Martin. You can see how much he's losing the rear. So Eggy's going to try a nice line round the outside, go for a switch, loses the rear a bit himself, stays behind for now. And we know Carver is not going to give this P2 up without a fight. Depends how close drifting can get though. It stayed around 8-9 tenths the whole time. And Smolnik's gained about 4 tenths, so it's going to be close. A 3-way fight for second. And I'll tell you what though, Carbro is actually gaining a bit on Seb. At least through there. Seb with 100% battery to use. Eggy gets in front of Nathan. Pretty standard. But yeah, big moment in the championship. As soon as Oren closes it to a small margin like it was in Hungary, something happens to him. Granted, Hungary was his own fault. But something happens to him. And then Seb wins the race and extends his margin to about 20-something again. As bouncing over the curb goes Eggy. And at the moment, I guess we'll include fastest lap. At the moment, if Seb were to win, get fastest lap, he would be 28 points clear of Oren with 6 races to go. And if Oren returns on his form and gains again, in terms of like the trajectory of the championship, it was looking like Oren would just take the lead and not look back and make it anticlimactic. That has actually kind of made it very interesting to see if Oren can gain that back again. But we know that Seb is a bit reborn at the moment. He hasn't driven like this in a while. He's been very consistent to get the podiums, but this is as a whole step above for Seb, looking for his 5th, 6th win. I think it's 6th. As Chubster gets a 3-second time penalty down in P11. He's fighting Frosty for 10th. Frosty's already had a big incident with Christian at this very straight. Stays in front for now, but Frosty, I'll remind you, is on the full wet tyres for some reason. And he's holding Chubster up. They both have a 3-second. They go around the final couple of corners. The gap's up to 3 seconds now between the top two. Frosty moving right, left. Chubster going around the outside. Frosty brakes later. Doesn't give the space, but he was behind anyway. Chubster tries a switchback, but Frosty places his car where he needs to. And this is the closest fight on track at the moment. So if Chubster can just maximise his exit, use his battery, but Frosty not using any, and Chubster gets back in front into P10. As they're going to fly by now. And yep, the Sauber stays in front. Going off is Frosty. I really don't know why he put the full wets on. Unless the rain's going to get heavier. We've still got the second half of this race to go. This race is going to be definitely an hour. Right. Most wins. Seb has had 5. So today would be his 6th win. To put him up there alongside his own teammate, Charlie, TB. Only one behind Oren. Oren, who was looking maybe set for a potential 8th victory and equaling the record. Well, he's going to have to try that in Kota as Seb slides through the corner. In real life, the best driver you could say around Singapore, his name is Seb 2, and at the moment in EXFL Tier 2, he's currently the best of the rest. And drifting, the gap was 9/10, it's doubled now, 1.7. Carbro is showing some really good pace to keep drifting at bay, considering they were fighting in the dry as well. Nothing really separated them. Oh, it always looks like they're going to spin there. As Small Nick has got the gap from 3.4 to 2.7. He's not making massive inroads as Frosty gets a penalty. But I'll tell you what, drifting just took 7/10 out of Carbro there as he's drifting through the corners. And yeah, one corner you gain half a second, the next you lose it. In the wet, it's so much more extreme. As you can see, Small Nick has also gained an extra 4/10. You can see Carbro's lost a whole second and a bit to Seb, who's putting in a bit of an Oren performance at the moment. And speaking of which, Oren has unfortunately now left the session. There's no more he can do. And yeah, that will be his first non-point scoring finish in, what, like, since China, really? Or Japan? Since, yeah, Australia, because he didn't race that one. Seb starts lap 18 then, 4.7 clear of Carbro, 1.2 clear of drifting. These three, it looks like they'll all be quite close to fight for the podium, P2, 3 and 4 by the end. Josh Hewitt in the pit lane. Oh, exits the pit lane. And that puts Eggy back up in a 5th. So he decided against it last second and does what he usually does. So that'll promote Nathan up into 6th. Warren up to 7th. Morgan up to the 8th. And if he can gain one more second, he may beat Warren in terms of penalties. Car's pulled off, as we have a yellow in the end of the first sector as well for some reason. But that might just be as Nathan gets a penalty. Oh, was it Nathan? I don't know. Probably not. Right, that'll promote Chubbs up to 9th. Frosty into the points. Christian still quite a bit behind, unfortunately. Will be 11th. So, we have lost Bluey, who retired on the opening lap. Still don't really know what happened to him. He may have just lost it at the end of this first sector. We've lost Oren because of a crash in turn 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 with Josh. And we've just lost Josh, who just gave up. So, we've lost one Aston, one RB. We still have both Alpines in 3rd and 8th. So that's 19 points. We have Nathan really picking up the pieces with 8 points as Christian gets his 4th penalty. And we have Seb picking up a whole 26. So they would gain 7 points on Alpine. And they'd go back in front of Aston Martin. It's so unfortunate for Oren. We're going to look back at the end of the season here and see if where 18 extra points would have got him. There's no guarantee Oren would have won. But yeah, minimum probably 18. Anyway, Seb extends his lead to over 5 seconds now. Christian gets a 5th penalty. Carbro still looking strong. 1.1 ahead of drifting. He's 1.4 ahead of Small Nick. So that's where the battle's going to be building up soon. As, yeah, the rain is definitely getting heavier. And I still think it wouldn't be out of the question. 1, if these inters can even go to the end. 2, if they decide to put the full wets on. So there could still be a bit of strategy implemented. You can see how wet the track is getting and how these sketchy conditions can catch any driver out at any moment. And the skill required for some of these guys to take these corners as fast as possible. Eggy in a bit of no man's land in P5. Same with Nathan in 6th. Same with Warren in 7th. But for Morgan's sake, he's gaining quite well on the Haas car, and he's going to beat him at the moment due to penalties. As Nick is within a second now of drifting. Of course, there is no DRS. So, yeah, 1 second between the 3 of them. Carbro to drifting, drifting to Nick. And if Morgan really tries in these last 12 laps, he could maybe potentially get Nathan as well. I don't know how much he's taken out of him. Actually, considering it's raining now, Seb will definitely get the fastest lap, and it's not even close with some of them. Well, I say it's not even close. Oren's is 0.2 off, I guess. Just under. Anyway, Smolnik, 48%. To Drifting's 22%. To Carbro's 50%. Carbro, who's had 2 podiums to his name. Australia in Tier 2 Season 5 2 years ago. And Italy, Tier 2 Season 6. I think Australia, he got 2nd or 3rd. Yeah, he got 2nd. And in Italy, he got 2nd. And at the moment, he runs 2nd. As Smolnik is trying to move on Drifting to the inside. Slight contact, but Drifting stays in front. Opportunistic, but it looked all fine. Hard racing as Driftings will stay in 3rd for now, letting Carbro get out a bit more in front. And you can see the intensity of the rain. The spray that's getting kicked up. You see Drifting literally in his name through those corners as Smolnik is not waiting around. He's going to try and catch Drifting when he makes a mistake. He's trying to pressure him into one. He's going to try and get a good exit now. Drifting has saved a bit of battery though, and will pull away now. Drifting had a very unfortunate Baku Grand Prix, getting caught out by a wall that stuck out just before the end of the first sector finishing. And yeah, Smolnik, who could have potentially been fighting Seb for the win if his AI didn't pit him. But he's on a comeback job now to get another podium in the Williams. And, oh, Carbro, same with Drifting earlier, hit that wall. And they're just about getting away with these sorts of things. Kind of like real life. Eggy gained a bit actually there, but made a mistake. Warren has caught up to Nathan. I don't know if Nathan's made a mistake, but Nathan was like 6-7 seconds clear of the Haas driver. And now P6 looks very interesting for Morgan, as battles are going to intensify now. Drifting nearly 2 seconds behind Carbro. Nick's going to use his battery, but Drifting's got plenty to use if he wants. And we'll stay in front for now, so 10 laps to go then. Going wide there is the Alpine. So yeah, oh, wheel to wheel between Warren and Nathan, and Warren's got the place. So Warren up into 6th, and at the moment Morgan will get 6th to gain 4 extra points for Alpine, which means RB would only be outscoring them by 3 points. And yeah, Nathan, it'll still be P4 for it. It'll still be 4 points for Nathan, which is still a really good result. But yeah, Warren looking good in these conditions. Nathan really struggling. Smolnik still staying behind. Yeah, Carbro is demonstrating a lot of good pace as well. Consistency. None of them have really made a big mistake as Morgan gets in front of Nathan. Goes sliding there, so I think that was a pretty easy pass for the Alpine driver. If only Morgan didn't have a big spin earlier, he may have been, well, maybe with Eggy. I don't know about the top 4. You can see the rain and the wind, just how hard it's coming down. And what do the drivers do then with 10 laps to go? Do they pit for wets? Because it is a long pit lane. As losing the rear there a bit is Drifting. And might give Nick another chance. He's got his battery. Drifting's got a whole battery to use if he wants. And Nick's using all of it. So that's not going to help him. And so's Carbro. As Morgan gets a 3-second time penalty. Well, which doesn't change anything, really. He'll still beat Warren. So everyone's got a time penalty from 6 downwards. The top 5, well, probably why they're the top 5. They're coming up to lap Carbro's teammate Christian. The last time this happened was Baku, and Christian unfortunately crashed in the castle section. This time round it should be fine. Nathan gets another penalty. So Christian moves out of the way, gets lapped by his teammate. Try a little bit of a battle here, but yep, Carbro in front now. He's keeping the gap kind of stable to Seb. Only losing a couple tenths here and there. As Drifting's pulled away from Nick a bit now. Just want to quickly check. They're all on... Well, Morgan's on a bit of fresher tyres than the rest. Chubster, I think, has just pitted. And that allows Frosty into 9th, who's also pitted a lap before. So Frosty's got the undercut. So if Chubster can just sit within 3 seconds of Frosty, he'll still beat him. And Morgan is pretty equal pace with Warren. If anything, Warren's a bit quicker. Because he's gained 4 tenths. So it's going to be close. As into the pit lane, Small Nick. Yep, it is the time for full wets then. As Drifting has caught... Oh, wait, no, that's Christian. Never mind. Drifting still losing quite a few tenths here and there to Carbro. Carbro has actually taken a few tenths out of Seb's 6.3 second lead. So Small Nick is only going to lose him a place. 2 points. But he's on the full wets with 8 to go. And I don't know exactly how much this is going to gain. Make a mental note. He's 36.3 behind Seb. 0.5 behind Seb. Okay, 0.3 behind Seb. We'll see how he goes in a couple laps' time. But yeah, he's got to gain a lot to at least gain back 4th. And full wets compared to inters. Don't really know. We haven't really had much wet weather running this season. Especially in the race. So it's a bit of an unknown. Drifting now over 3 seconds behind Carbro. Carbro, who's got the gap under 6 seconds to Seb. It was 6.7, now it's 5.7. Carbro is really coming into his own as one of the best racers I think we've ever seen from him. Certainly finding some good pace. He's taken another 4 tenths out of Seb. This is really good stuff from the McLaren. Pulling away from Drifting. As right now, their biggest, I guess, concern is their own race. Not to throw it in the wall, bottle it, spin. Eggy once again finds himself in 4th, and if anything happens to the top 3, he could find himself on the podium again. So Nick has gained, well, it was 14 behind Eggy, now it's 12. It was 36 point something. It is 34 point something. 35 seconds. So yeah, as much as Nick is gaining a second-ish, that's not really enough. But then again, the inters could wear out. Don't really know the tyre wear. Josh is saying apparently, like, he went into the pit lane. He retired before his car was in the pit lane, which is stupid. And his AI, like, moved him back out. This is why you actually retire in the pit lane. But anyway, 5.5. The gap's stabilising a bit now. Morgan has closed down on Warren. Small Nick gets a time penalty, which I think may confirm his P5. So he may have just thrown away 2 points there, unfortunately. Yeah, so Morgan was 2.4 behind. Now he's 1.5 behind Warren, who are fighting for 6th and 7th. Nathan also pitted for the wets. And he's going to be far enough clear of Frosty and Chubster. If Chubster can maybe push hard enough, he could maybe beat Nathan for 8th. But he's going to need to gain a lot. And Christian about to be lapped by Eggy soon as well. Carbro's still lapping better than Seb. He's bringing the gap down 10th by 10th. But with only about 6-7 laps to go, it's a 5-second gap. I think Seb could even afford to get a time penalty here. But he's looking strong. He's looked strong all race. It's the race he needed. He's been waiting for. And it's so unfortunate that Oren has to actually watch the race rather than be in it. He would definitely minimum, like I said, be P2. And again, we wonder how much 18 points is going to affect things by the end. But a championship is not won in one race. It's won over the course of a season. But this race is definitely one of the most ones that'll be talked about by the end. Right, so if we look at wins, yeah, it'll be Seb's 6th win, and I believe 4th of the season. as Warren gets another time penalty, which even cements Morgan's P6 even more. So yeah, this will be Seb's 4th win of the season. He won the opening round in Bahrain. 2 races later, he won Australia. Then he had to wait quite a bit, about 8 races later for Hungary. And 5 races later, he's going to get probably the most important victory of his Tier 2 career. It's, well, there's not really a name for it, but it's, if I could think on the spot, it's a full opposite swing wing. A full opposite swing win, pretty much, where you gain a whole 25 points, or 6, on your main rival. So for an example, like 21 Britain. And it's a big margin and advantage. But we know Oren. We know he has the qualities to be world champion. And I'm sure a few more wins, maybe breaking the record for most wins, will help him gain back. He's got to do like a Hamilton kind of thing now. Well, he's been doing that pretty much all season. He was at one point 70 points behind Seb. And he got it down to just 2. But now, after today, it'll be 28 points, 6 races to go. And we head to some tracks that might favour Seb, might favour Oren. And maybe even Carbro. As Frosty and Nathan fight. So they have caught Nathan. So Nathan and Frosty fighting for 9th and 10th. Frosty loses it a bit there. Some of these guys can't even keep it in a straight line. But Nathan stays in 8th. So Nathan and Frosty are going to be fighting for position. Chubster knows he's going to get 8th. So unfortunately Nathan, who was at one point in 5th, as we have a yellow, and it's Christian, I believe. Yeah. Gone off there, lost a bit of his wing. There technically is still time for a safety car, which would maybe change a few things. Smolnik, 35 seconds off the lead. 32 seconds now. Yeah, the gamble has not worked. Drifting is going to come home with another podium. And Carbro, his best race yet, probably. And yeah, you never know. A win in the last 6 races for Carbro. Is it on the cards? Drifting got his first win in Italy. Post-race pens. So Seb, Frosty and Nathan fighting again. Seb hasn't done anything penalty-worthy this race, but still. Oh, we have a safety car. Okay. I think that's because Christian's just lost his whole front wing. He has. So Christian, who lost a bit of his wing early in the lap, has now lost his whole front wing, and that is Warren gets another time penalty. That moment where like you lose your whole front wing, the impact instantly causes another safety car, as he's going to go straight on here because he wasn't making that corner. And yeah, that's well, let's put a few things in jeopardy. The safety car will definitely come in at the end of lap 29. It's lap 27 at the moment. And considering the rain has lightened, look, it's back to interlevel. I don't really see a reason why the top 3 would pit, especially if any of the top 2 pit. They're losing crucial track position. So this is going to be very interesting. Warren got even more penalties now. I think him and Morgan have just pitted. What the hell? Morgan's on softs. Is it seriously about to stop raining? Or no way that's going to work. Morgan, you tried this in the first safety car, along with Frosty and Christian. No, along with Frosty and Chubster. It didn't work. So there's going to be a bit of Tier 2 chaos. What do the leaders do? Seb is pitting. What do Carbro and Drifting do? Does Carbro stay out? He's pitting as well. What does Drifting do? Is Drifting going to gamble? He's going to gamble. Drifting is going to stay out and take the lead of the Singapore Grand Prix right at the end. Seb, he'll put new inters on. So he thinks new rubber will help him. Drifting thinks his current rubber is enough. Carbro's put the softs on. What is going on? Well, we know who the top 4 will be, unless there's any incidents. Because they don't have penalties, but What on earth is going on? Christian's... Oh, Nick has also had a thingy. Well, it's a bit similar to last season where everyone was on inters apart from one person who put the soft compound tyres on, and that was Ridian. Ridian ended up winning that race by 14 seconds because he made the right call. Or was it the opposite where he put the inters on, everyone else was on dries? I'm pretty sure everyone was on inters and he was on softs. But anyway, a bit reminiscent. We have 2 drivers mainly on softs. Christian is 2 minutes off the next car, so he's not going to really gain. He's lapped, so... That's Morgan and Warren swap because Warren's in the pit lane, I think, to service 10 sec. It's lap 28. The safety car will be coming in next lap to leave us with 2 laps of running. Drifting is on 17 lap-old inters. Seb, if he wants to win this race, because he's been in first the whole time, and it was going to be a Grand Slam. Well, okay, it wasn't, because Nick led a lap. It was almost a Grand Slam. But Seb had everything under control, and not only does he have to get past Drifting, he has to get past Nathan, who's in between them and lapped. So, Alpine, Aston, and RB, 1, 2, and 3, but not how you'd expect it. Seb has got to hope Nathan, for some reason, pits again. Otherwise, it could go all wrong at the restart if Nathan doesn't know, you can't overtake before the line. So Drifting has to bolt it. Hope Nathan holds Seb up. And he's got 2 laps to hold on to this win. And for Oren's sake, 19 points compared to 26 would help a lot more, because the standings between Oren and Seb are going to either be 21 points or 28 points. And that is a very crucial 7 points. Who is going to win this race? Seb, who's got it to do. 2 laps to get past a lapped car and then Drifting. Or is Drifting going to hold on? What about Carbro on the softs? Could Eggy potentially snatch the podium from him on the intermediates? How well is Morgan going to handle on the softs as well? I thought every time they go through that corner, it looks like it stopped raining. Nick saying, biggest bottle of my life. Carbro saying, might have been the biggest bottle ever. They may be on the wrong strategy, and it's too late now. They've started the last lap under the safety car. And then we will have 2 laps of racing to the end. The rain is definitely lighting up, but it's definitely inters. So Drifting, who was looking comfortable for 3rd, I think anyway, without contact, will be 2nd minimum. But Drifting, who got his first win post-race pens in Italy. He's been waiting quite a while. He had a chance in Austin last season. He had a chance in Imola this season. And then in Italy, he got it when he least expected it. But I'm sure in the back of his mind, he would have always wanted to win on track. In the moment, celebrate. Well, this is his chance. He's taken the gamble in Alpine style. He's got to do the restart though. And Warren gets another penalty. After all that, Frosty and Chubster, who were 10th and 11th, are going to find themselves 7th and 8th, but kind of in no man's land. Morgan is going to try and catch these lot. He's a long way clear of 7th. So it's the top 5 at the moment. But crucially, Nathan is in between the leader and 2nd place. We're going to have 2 laps of racing then to see who's going to win the Singapore Grand Prix. Drifting has gambled by staying out on 18 lap-old inters. Seb's on new inters. He's got to hope that Nathan doesn't let him go before the line and get him exactly there. So Nathan pulls away. Drifting is about to go for the restart. And Nathan, will he let him go just before the line? They're over the line, so Seb can now get on with it. As Eggy is already past Carbro, who's off on a straight. Eggy into the podiums then. As here we go then, Drifting versus Seb for the win. It might be a battery game, because Drifting on 18 lap-old intermediates. How much of a chance is he going to stand in front of the driver, the championship leader, looking to extend and go the full margin? He's in the slipstream of the Alpine. He's blasting his battery. He goes to the inside, but can he get the move done? No, he switches to the outside on Drifting. Round the outside goes Seb. Wheel-to-wheel stuff. Seb takes back the lead in the Singapore Grand Prix. He's done it. Drifting tried what he could, but Seb has driven brilliantly and takes back the lead. When it looked like a little bit of doubt, he proved any doubters wrong, and he's back into P1, drifting P2. Eggy in the podium, and looks like Nick, not really sure what he can do with a penalty. With a lot of penalties, actually. It's P4. Morgan may even end up 4th, but he's also on the softs. And now, drifting has to make sure he doesn't finish third, because Eggy could also potentially get him. Seb, little bit of a worry came his way, but he's got the job done right at the restart. Drifting tried all he could. It was all fair, and Seb will now just have over 1 lap to go before claiming victory with the fastest lap point as well to get a full house of points. It's the best possible race he could have hoped for. His championship rival out of the race, and now he's just got 1 more lap to navigate before he can cross the line to win for a 4th time this season and extend his margin in the championship with 6 to go. Drifting 3/10 in front of Eggy down the inside. Small Nick, even with a penalty, doesn't care. Takes back P3 and ruins any chance of Eggy getting P2 in the race. And for drifting's sake, he might not mind that too much. And Morgan still struggling on the softs. Carbro also on the softs. At this rate, Frosty and Chubster may even catch them. Warren's going to get 9th. Nathan 10th. As Small Nick's getting past Drifting. Drifting shouldn't put up too much of a fight because of all the penalties. But now he has to make sure Eggy doesn't get him. It's going to be close. Does Eggy have a chance? Warren gets another penalty. Drifting has 25%. Eggy has 70. Eggy, who's had 2 podiums this season, both in 3rd, with Oren and Seb on the podium. This time round, Oren's not going to be there. So Eggy has a chance for P2. But Smolnik is clearing away. Can Eggy potentially snatch 2nd on the last lap to Drifting? Drifting all over the place. And where can Eggy strike? Seb has just got 1 sector to navigate before taking victory. Carbo with a penalty. Eggy trying to blast all he can and might get Drifting into the next chicane. And here we go then. Eggy blasting all his battery. Drifting with barely any. Here comes Eggy for P2. And you know what? He's going to get it on the last lap. Eggy into P2 in front of Drifting. Seb, 15 races to the championship leader. He's going to make it 16 with 6 to go. It's the perfect night he could have wished for. Sebastian wins the Singapore Grand Prix. Eggy is going to come home for P2. A brilliant race from him. Drifting tried the gamble. It's P3 for him and a podium. Smolnet will come home for P4. Morgan, P5. Just missed out by a second. And Carbro could have been a podium. It's P6 for him. Frosty will come home in P7. It's heaven sent for Sebastian Ferrugia. 26 points gained on his rival. 2 points goes to 28. And yeah, Chubster just missed out by a 10th on Frosty as well. Warren will come in for 9th. Christian 11th. TRS now gets enabled, as if. And Seb, his most important win in maybe his whole league racing career. He wins the Singapore Grand Prix. Eggy gets a career best 2nd finish. Drifting another podium. What a race. Eggy saved his battery. Drifting used too much and also had really old tyres. And Eggy got him right at the end for P2. The next new winner in this league is in Tier 2 is definitely going to be either Eggy or Carbro. But at the moment, it's win number 6 for Sebastian. So there we have it. Sebastian wins the Singapore Grand Prix in front of Eggy, and then drifting to round out the top 3. I think I lost my voice since lap 7. Yeah, we lost Bluey, we lost Oren, Josh, Christian made it 11 finishers. And yeah, let's get the top 3 in the party then. Drifting says he can't do an interview. That's fine, we'll just get Sven and Seb in. Eggy. There he is. And Seb. Well, one of the most important races of the season, that one. Something usually always happens in Singapore, and yeah, quite a lot happened. I don't know if Seb's going to join the party and say, like, rough or something, like he usually does when he wins.
Oh, no, I'm having a rave at the moment, but you just remind me. Oh, hi, Jaden.
Oh, hang on. Quickly turn that down.
Oh.
Right, we have Seb joining the party at the moment. Still waiting on Eggy. I'll just send him one more. Right. Showroom. Let's look at that beautiful RB. An interview. The driver racing it for 31 long and half the time glorious laps. The other half trying to survive restarts and drivers near him. Seb, I think we can safely say that was the best race you have ever driven.
Yeah, 100%.
Or at least looked like it. Untouchable, unbeatable, and what a masterclass of a drive from you. There's Eggy. Yeah, what a drive. It's the perfect race you could have wished for. Oren got close with 2 points, and then like Hungary, once again, you've gone and won it. And that's exactly what you needed. But it was all because of you. You put the work in. You absolutely demolished in every single way anyone who came close and took the victory. Fastest lap, pole position. You didn't lead every lap because obviously a few bits here and there with the safety car. But anyway, just take us through your race.
Yeah, no, it was a very, very big race, to say the least. Coming into this race, I put a lot of graft in improving my time trial time to where I got into the top 600 in the world.
Wow.
So after a lot of graft,
this is what a tier 2 title means to a man, ladies and gentlemen.
After that much, just slaving away, I knew going into this race, I had to win. There was no coming in second or anything like that. I had to win. I had to continue leading this championship, which I now have done. But I do also want to say, obviously with this being a wet race and a good friend of mine winning a wet race at the same track last year, shout out my Pookie Ridian.
Big up Ridian.
If there's, like, I've heard trickling in the grapevine of something big happening with Ridian.
Potentially. But don't get your hopes up.
I'm not. But yeah, no, it was a very important race. I proved how much this kind of meant to me in qualifying with the laps I put in, and then just got a good launch, and then Oren spun behind me, didn't even know what happened. And then
they just lost it.
Then I think Oren and Josh got tangled together. I don't know what happened there, so.
Yeah, so Josh, apparently you got distracted on a straight, so drove into the wall, lost a bit of his wing, and then Oren got him at the bit where you got drifting.
Yeah.
And then the next corner, Josh just sent it. And it didn't actually look like too bad of a send because he had a phenomenal start, and he made the same sort of move into turn 3 on Nick. So it didn't look like a desperate send, but it was a very poorly executed send, which they kind of connected and tangled, but pretty much Josh did put Oren in the barrier. And it's not the first time we've seen the teammate of a driver fighting for the championship take out or have a collision with their rival, Bram, Josh. Um, but yeah, that is a big moment, and yeah, what
Yeah.
could have been? We don't know what 18 points is going to give Oren, but like I was saying, you win a championship over the course of a season, not one race. So at least for your sake, that is, this is even more of a weight off your shoulders than Hungary, I'm gonna guess.
Uh, I I don't know because I know Oren's quick. I think obviously I do a lot of practice with Oren. I basically talk to Oren basically every night.
Yeah,
So
got a bit close between you two at one point in lap 5 or something.
but the thing is, with how much we do like five lappers and stuff like that, we know the space that we can give each other.
Yeah.
So I knew basically anything that we did, it was all going to be in fair game.
Yep. And anyway, yeah, on the restart, you got drifting. Before it could get a little bit nervous. Yeah, proved any doubters wrong. Got right back into the lead. So you have.
I love a bit of my outside overtakes at the late
Yep.
moments.
I was gearing up. I was like, he's gonna use his battery. He's gonna go to the inside. Simple. No, he switches to the outside. Why not? And yeah, brilliant
I did
move.
it at Baku for my first one, and I've done it now.
Brilliant move. So you have a 28-point lead with 6 races to go. I did say before the lights came on, any driver who's led the World Championship for 15 rounds or more has always gone on to win it. And
Nah,
obviously,
don't say that.
and obviously now it's 16 rounds for you. So
Nah,
yeah,
don't say that.
28 points, 6 races. It's I don't like to compare, but it is giving me a bit of 21 with at least the gap. And Oren has got a few more races to close that back down. But anyway,
Oh,
today's about you. You've got your 6th victory of your career, your 4th of the season.
yeah.
You're only 2 off the record, to be fair. 1 off Oren. So you never know. But at the moment, that was one of the best drives I've ever seen from a driver in this tier. So you should be very, very happy with what you've achieved. And yeah, 28 points in the championship. Also helping RB close a bit on Alpine.
Yeah.
I think you outscored them. It might have only been a few points though. Still, well done today. Brilliant stuff.
Yeah, thank you.
Anyway, on to P2. Eggy, are you there, mate? Hello. So a career equaling P2, and that was one of your best drives I've seen from you. You qualified, was it 6th? Yep, 6th, and then you were fighting with a Carbro and drifting for 4th or 5th or whatever. You got around them, and then after a bit of shenanigans with the safety car in the rain, you found yourself a bit on your own in 4th after Nick pitted for the wets. At the time, did you just think, yeah, this is it, settle for 4th, can't really do anything? Yeah, and then the safety car came out, and then what was your opinion when you saw one of them was on softs? Hmm. There are two things obviously you drivers know more than me, your tyre wear and the weather. Did it actually say it was going to be dry at the end, or? Wow. Okay, so give it another lap or so, the rain probably would have stopped. No wonder a few went on to the dries, but some of those strategy decisions were very interesting from some people. But yeah, you were 4th. You capitalised on Carbro being on the softs. Actually, what did happen to Carbro at the restart? Because he spun on the main straight. What happened? Oh, okay. Oh, right. But anyway, the main moment of your race and one of the moments of the race, you added battery. You're one of the best drivers in the tier in terms of saving battery. Drifting had none, and you pulled off a brilliant move in the last couple corners to take away P2. So you must be happy with this result. Yeah. So it's your 7th career podium. You're in great form. It's your 3rd of the season. You're 3rd in the last 4 races. And I think the one race you didn't get a podium, you finished 4th anyway. So yeah, a career best equaling 2nd. I'm sure that first win will be coming soon. You never know when. USA, penalties, you never know. This guy wins races. He does like to get the odd 3-second here and there, so you never know. But yeah, well done today on a brilliant P2. Well done to drifting on P3. He's not here for interviews, but he'll sure take a lot of points with him. That has been the Singapore Grand Prix. What a race, and what a very championship-defining race indeed. Oren out, Seb wins, and the gap gets a bit bigger, but I'm sure Oren will be looking to close that down. 6 to go. Austin, Mexico, Brazil, Vegas, Qatar, and Abu Dhabi. And it's still all to play for.